Everybody, this is the Upper Tier Podcast. It's Monday. It's the Monday mashup. What a weekend of football we had. From the sublime to the crazy to last minute and everything in between. Joining me as always, my co-host, my partner in crime, live from Stockley Park in West Dublin. How are you, Marky?
I'm all good. I don't think anyone was in Stockley Park the weekend, considering some of the decisions, to be honest with
Well, I think they were, but it was the wrong people.
you.
But we will be talking about Nottingham Forest. Don't worry about that. We'll be talking about plenty of stuff. We're going to be talking Nottingham Forest. We're going to be talking the Liverpool managerial situation. We're going to be talking Hall of Fame. We're going to be doing a review of the weekend's action. We're going to be doing a preview for the midweekers. And guess what? For the first time on this show, I think it is, we're going to have a mini beat the boogie from our resident ref.
Oh,
So we're going to
yes.
see how his picks stack up to the Dazzler, who
And
I
I
think
can't
had a
even,
very good weekend.
really, I can't even pick any championship. Remember, I used to throw a few bets in on a Thursday. I'd always throw championship or League One in, but there's none on this week.
There you go. There you
It's
go.
the final day of the season next week. Blackpool won, so we're still within a chance of. We need Lincoln, and I think it's Barnsley to drop points. And if we win against Reading away on Saturday, we get a playoff spot. So fingers crossed.
Yeah, absolutely. But before we start and get into the chat with the OGs, let's start off, of course, with our sponsor for the Monday matchup this
Oh
season.
yes.
Hogan Elite Trophy Horror, Mark, take it away.
Yeah, lads, any events coming up, give us a shout on the page. Like I said, give us a follow on Insta and a like on Facebook and stuff like that. If you have any events coming up, particularly if you're a United or City fan, FA Cup final coming up as well, with the FA Cup trophy there and everything. And obviously, if you're an Arsenal fan, you're getting excited, top of the league, give me a shout. Loads of events coming up in May, like I'm saying, with the United Legends and stuff like that as well. Um, there was the match against Ballyfermot was confirmed for Saturday, August the 3rd. That was confirmed during the week. So I'm looking forward to that. So we'll be doing 4 games with the United Legends over the summer. So like I said, in May we're in Athenroy, in June we're in Longford, in July we're in Letterkenny, and in August then we're in Ballyfermot. So hopefully we'll get a few shout outs from the legends. We'll getting a few shout outs for the podcast as well,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, we must get a link for Tony's page as well.
Yeah,
We must
100%.
pop that up as well so it keeps people in the loop as well.
The one of Ballyfermot. So Ballyfermot, Manchester United Supporters Club have linked up with Ballyfermot United. So we're doing a match. It's going to pot. The venue still has to be decided, but we have a rough idea where it's going to be. Obviously in Ballyfermot, we were trying to get St Pat's ground, but unfortunately they were looking for too much money. So that put an end to that, you know. So, but now listen, great weekend if you're a United fan living in Dublin. Go down. It doesn't matter what if you have small kids or your dad, your granddad still there. Go down. It's a real good day out for all the family, and you get to meet the lads, get a few things signed and stuff like that. It's fantastic, like you know.
Yeah, and I mean, even if you're not a United fan, I've gone to a couple of them now with you and stuff like that, and I went to a Celtic one with Tony as well, and they're great fun and they're great banter. And the one thing about it is, even if you're not a United fan, you can have banter about times when they upset you or broke your heart in the game or
Yeah,
something like
yeah,
that, or
yeah.
cost you a bet on a Saturday and stuff like that. And the lads are more than up for that kind of banter as well. The
Ah,
likes
it's
of Brian
unreal.
McLaren
Yeah.
and the lads and all, they're great from that point of view and stuff like that and all, you know. So there you go. But
But no,
yeah,
definitely.
absolutely.
Would even try get you down to the Ballyfermot game, cuz get you down there Saturday the 3rd of August.
Yeah, it should be all right. Normally, yeah, first week in August, I'm normally all good. Yeah, it's the by tail end of August when we're busy and stuff like that. So yeah, absolutely. But yeah, go check it out. We will get you next week. What we'll do is we'll have Tony's information and stuff like that, so you'll be able to keep up with tickets and all that kind of stuff and who's coming over and everything. And they're always fantastic and great fun. I have to say, the one I went to, the Celtic one, I had great fun with John Hartson and stuff like that. And all, you know.
It's like it's great crack. Like
Yeah.
to sit down and have a few points with Dennis Irwin there last October, and then the previous year to playing goal for Man United, and just had like with a back four of Lee Martin, David May, Wes Brown, and Dennis Irwin was my back four on a Saturday afternoon. Minute going, this is just unbelievable, like you know. So
Absolutely.
yeah, they're a great day out, and it's great. Like I said, you see generations like the Minute game. You had the likes of granddads and dads that bring their sons, you know, their grandsons and stuff like that, and even Yvonne's cousin, his young lad's a big Rovers fan. Liam O'Brien came out. I got to come out and sign the Rovers jersey and all for him. So it is. It's a great day out, and
Mm.
like I said, bring some memorabilia down, get a sign and stuff like that. It's fantastic.
Absolutely. So keep up with that and make sure if you do have any needs, Hogan Elite Trophy or get onto that. Give Marky a
That's
follow and
it.
pump the page and all that. Right, let's get into the review. Let's start then. Luton 1, Brentford 5. No one's seen that coming.
It was. I thought it'd be a lot tighter game. It's probably the worst defensive display I've seen Luton play in a long time. And I had watched them in the Championship last season a lot. Defensively, they were just all over the place, and from set pieces as well. Usually, they go man to man marking for set pieces, and they're really strong at defending and attacking for set pieces as well. But they were just abysmal. Like Brentford were just running through them. They looked dead on their feet. I think it was Brentford's fifth goal where the ball was played across, and the Luton right full just looked like he'd rather be somewhere else, like, you know. Wissa with a fantastic first goal, and it was just, listen, it was one of those games Luton would have fancied maybe nicking a point, and, you know, could have been a vital point at the end, but Brentford were just blew them away.
5 goals for Brentford and not one of them Ivan Toney. Not often
It's
you'll say that either.
it's a strange one. Like he hasn't been involved in the last few games. He was on the bench for the two previous. I don't think he was
Yeah.
even in the squad. Was he in this squad on Saturday?
Don't think he was in the squad for Saturday.
No,
Yeah, I
I
think
don't think.
he's been making rumblings, hasn't he, about moves and stuff like that
Yeah,
and all,
yeah, he's
which
been
is the
touting
last
himself
thing.
out there. Like,
And Thomas Frank has been under a bit of pressure. They've been sliding right down the table. So this is not the time after getting that type of support to be kind of making connotations like that. As we said, we
yeah,
spoke about Luis Diaz's star as well at Liverpool. So it's not good, you know what I mean? Obviously he's gonna leave Brentford, there's no doubt about it. But
oh yeah,
let's
hundred
see what
percent.
happens there. But yeah, it was a huge result for Brentford in the table and a real poor result for Luton. Just before we get into next, the chat, obviously Acers is in there. We're going to be talking about it. Acers, Andy Cole and
Oh
John
yeah,
Terry
Aces.
inducted into the Premier League Hall of Fame class. Well deserved. Absolutely. Listen, all the candidates would be well deserved if they go in. I'm just a little bit concerned about the volume of numbers they're putting in each year and how they're ever going to catch up.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
because it's just on a treadmill at the moment. You know what
It's
I mean?
mental, isn't it?
Roll me one of Kenobi is in.
Oh,
How are
you're
you?
only
Hi
one.
all. Beating Man City on Wednesday, then Spotify FC on Sunday. What a beautiful week it's been.
But
It's been a
Bellingham and
cracking
stoppage time and everything, unreal.
again,
Yeah,
again.
yeah,
Not the first time. If West Ham get Amarim, we're going to be talking about that. What a steal that would be! Yeah,
yeah. I was
absolutely.
reading about that before we
It's
just
it's
came on here.
crazy. But I think I, we'll talk about it later. But I think just people are getting hot under collar at the moment, and we just need to take stock. You know. Tony forgot to bet on himself to score, so he didn't bother. It's
Uh,
mad, isn't it? It's mad as well when you look at the stadiums and they've all the betting advertisements and all. And
yeah.
yet this guy got into so much trouble, you know what I mean? It's crazy, you know. Next up then, Burnley 4, Sheffield United 1. These teams are going on a mad one at the moment, goal wise.
Yeah, it was some weekend for the goals. Again, like this game could have been completely different. McBurney had a great opportunity to put them 1-0 up. Then Diaz had an opportunity where he shot, he could have squared it, but the Burnley keeper, man of the match, like he pulled off some fantastic saves. Ever since he's come in for Trafford, I thought he's done well against Chelsea. I know he had a mistake against Palace there a few weeks ago, I think it was, but I think he's done really well. And listen, when they went 1-0 up, Burnley, they look fairly confident. Brownhill in midfield has been excellent over the last few weeks for them. I think we all kind of didn't give them an opportunity the last few months, but they're starting to tip away. And you look at the league table now and think, they're in with a better chance, obviously, in the Sheffield United. But from a Sheffield United point of view, this was a game at home to your relegation kind of closest to your. You'd have to pick up some sort of points, even get a point out of it if you couldn't get the 3. But like I said, those missed opportunities right at the start of the game came back to haunt them,
Yeah, absolutely. Don't forget, Acers, absolutely. Will Ospreay versus Daniel Bryan, or Bryan Danielson, as you should say, was a classic, all right. Don't forget, tomorrow night we will be doing Pro Wrestling Weekly, folks, and we will be going through the AEW Dynasty card. And it was a really, really good event, in fairness to them. I know we give them a lot of stick on here on the podcast and stuff like that, but last night, those boys showed up for them. That is for sure. Romy Kenobi, light bulb head is cooking with propane right now. He certainly is. Company, eh? And then we finish up kind of the Premier League that evening. Wolves 0, Arsenal 2. Arsenal taking the lead just on the stroke of half time with Trossard.
Yeah,
And then rounding it out on 90+5 with Martin Odegaard. But made hard work of it. Made hard work
it
of it against a
did.
much
Yeah,
depleted Wolves side.
it was. And in fairness, the Wolves, they gave them a good game. Again, they could have went 1-0 up. I think Raya had that save that he pushed off the crossbar and stuff like that. So they were putting pressure on them. They hit the side net a few times as well. And like you said, Wolves, I think, for my money, have been excellent this season. You know, I think with they've had some unlucky decisions against them with VAR and stuff like that, and they've just got on with it and they perform really well. And yeah, listen, it's from Arsenal, it's a great win. I said before Wolves could be tricky because they have to play yourselves, Arsenal and City in the run in. You know, I wanted to say that I could see them taking points off one of those three. Obviously, it wasn't Arsenal, and I think Arsenal fans will draw a sigh of relief from that result because it's very tricky going to Molineux and getting something this time of the season, and that showed, you know, even with a depleted team, how well they played as well, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. And two big games coming up for this week from Arsenal. We'll look at the title
But
race in a few
yeah,
minutes. They got Chelsea tomorrow night at home, and then I think they're away at the weekend to Spurs. Two
well,
potentially big games, you know.
it is, and in particularly tomorrow night, especially because they're playing ahead of City, so they could go. I think it's what 4 or 5 points ahead of them or whatever it is. So
Yeah, yeah.
psychologically, that's a big thing for Arsenal as well if they can manage to get 3 points from Chelsea.
Yeah, same as ourselves if we can do everything on Wednesday. So,
Yeah, yeah.
John's in. High thoughts on Arnie Slot being the bookie's favourite for the LFC job. It's absolutely that whole managerial market is absolutely crazy. But we'll talk about it later as well. But the one thing, if Amarin is going that easy to West Ham to replace David Moyes, I can guarantee you Michael Edwards has a plan, and I'm not sure whether it's Arnie Slot or not. Don't worry about what the bookies and all do, but I
Yeah,
think they
John, like
must
area
have.
John, but like
Yeah,
this time of the season, you know, you pick up a paper, there's going to be a new name there linked with the Liverpool job, and even tomorrow you'll see someone else going to be linked with the West Ham job as well. You know, it's just that time of the year where all this silly paper talk comes in, and
well, West Ham this evening flew Amarin in on a private jet for talks.
I've seen that. Yeah,
So they must be serious about it. And we did say that on the back of kind of the West Ham result that we'll touch on. That Moises he's skating on thin ice, really, you know.
has Moyes still got his house on Merseyside? He could be the next Liverpool manager. We'll put him in
Can't see that happening.
there.
FA Cup first semi-final. Man City 1, Chelsea 0. Bernardo Silva coming up clutch on 84 minutes with a goal. Chelsea will feel hard done by. Penalty or no penalty?
Yeah, for me it was a penalty all day long, you know, and
Yeah.
VAR should have told the referee to go off. I think from the referee's point of view, he thinks it's gone straight through the wall, and hence the reason he gave a goal kick, you know, and not a corner if it had a hit off the Grealish. But surely VAR should have called them and said, "Hey, listen, you have to make a mistake there." But they agreed with the on-field decision, even to give the goal kick and stuff like that. So I think it was a disgraceful decision. But at the same time, Chelsea should have had City killed off at that stage. You know, they could have been 2-3-0 up. Jackson had many chances, particularly after City had gone through the 120 minutes and the penalty shootout against Real Madrid on the Wednesday night. You know, psychologically and physically, they would have been exhausted from that. So, you know, for me, City were there for the taking on Saturday evening, and Chelsea couldn't do it. You know, it's a story of their season, really. They kind of flopped a little bit, and yeah, like I said, Mudryk and Jackson, you look at them going, man, the two big, for me, probably two of the worst signings of the season. Not just for
Jackson had his
Chelsea.
chances though, didn't he?
He
Jackson
did,
had
but
his
that's the
chance. He
thing.
could have scored
Like,
three.
he could have, and like I said, I don't think there'd be obviously there'd be uproar, but there wouldn't have been as much uproar if Chelsea had been 3-0 up at the time. You know, that sort of way, or 2-0 up
Yeah.
maybe. But yeah, for me, he's been like that all season. You know, he hasn't been taking his chances. Like I said, I've been watching him a lot this season, and he's so frustrating because, like I said, he's not taking his chances, and he's not like looking up sometimes and seeing a pass that's available to one of his teammates. And yeah, I don't know what if it's confidence thing or what, but like I said, it really cost Chelsea on Saturday.
Do you know what it is? It's a collection of young players. You know what I mean? And it's
Yeah,
just they're gonna make those mistakes. I say it even with our own when Quanta's in defence. He's going to make mistakes. He's a
yeah,
young lad. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
100%.
So they haven't got the experience under their belt yet, you know. And that's kind of something that I've barked on about Chelsea this season, that where they've brought in a lot of really young players and stuff like that, they just don't have that experienced spine there that goes
Yeah,
through it. Obviously, you've got Thiago Silva there and stuff like that and all, but other than that, Raheem is there as well. But Raheem, he doesn't come across as one of those players that's going to rub off you and bring you with him, kind of thing. You know, that kind of way.
yeah.
He's slightly different, but they need that bit of experience in there, and they just don't have it. John or Romy one can hope he don't listen. It's bad enough having one bald ex-Dutch manager in the league as it is. We don't need to be adding to that in any way, shape, or form. That is for sure. And here he is. He gets beaten 5-2 by Crystal Palace, and then he pops in here, pushing his chest out, hijacking our managerial appointment. Stephen, how are you, my friend? Hope you had a good weekend. Palace, not to be taken for granted. I well know.
Hey,
Um,
Stephen.
but yeah, let's get into Sunday then. Everton 2, Nottingham Forest nil.
Nothing really happened in this, did it?
Boring 2-0 result at Goodison, wasn't it? Really?
How how on earth did Forest not have 3 penalties? I literally, yeah, I seen that. Yes, I was watching Sky Sports News as well there today. They had the ref watch on for a full hour, like
And probably
how
needed every minute of it just for Nottingham Forest.
well your man Rob Dorset was outside the City ground as well. Obviously, listen, they're basically Forest have come out and basically accused the referees of cheating, which won't go down well with the FA. I know the FA had a meeting day, the disciplinary panel had a meeting today, so God only knows what's going to happen. Listen, obviously they
Couple of
felt
more, couple of more points deductions.
yeah, yeah, for everything. But yeah, it was. Listen, it was so strange, like the decisions, like not to even be looked at by VAR. Like the first one, Ashley Young's gone through the back of him. He's gone down. There's contact there. There's enough contact for me to give a penalty. I know Darren McGallagher was sitting on the fence, but it was a penalty. The handball, man, his arm is in an unnatural position. It goes towards the ball as well, and it's not as if he was very close to it. He was a bit away from it as well. We talk about proximity and whatever, and maybe if he hit off something, but his arms out, it goes towards the ball. How's that not a penalty? Like, and then
Yeah.
the third one again, yeah. Ashley Young's caught the wrong side of him, goes through the back of him, and it should have been a third penalty. Like, and
And
that change again. Now, listen, the two Everton goals we'll touch
yeah.
on were great finishes. Pickford pulled off
Mm.
some good saves as well, grand. But like they get those penalties, it's a completely different game. Everton have gotten away with one. I felt very, very sorry for Nottingham Forest. Obviously, yeah, they're frustrated, and the social media department obviously went to the hierarchy and got the approval to put the tweet out. But yeah, if you're a Forest
Or
fan,
did they? Or was it a disgruntled Forest fan who looks after social media who just
well,
lost the
that
rag?
that's what someone said. Maybe he forgot to switch accounts. Whoever runs the social media, But
He
yeah,
was
listen,
updating his own. He thought it was his own, and it was not the
yeah,
Forest.
exactly. That's it. But
Yeah.
Ashley Young, he's gotten away with three penalties there. And in fairness, another thing, if two of them are given you two yellow cards, and he possibly could have been sent off as well. So not only a Forest get penalties, but they're up against 10 men of Everton, which really like gives them a big advantage. In you're at the home run now. Every point,
Relegation. This could be the
exactly.
difference between staying up and going down. Like,
Exactly. Every
it's
point,
crazy.
every goal counts at this stage of the season. And yeah, I really feel Forest were hard done by on Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely. It was crazy. Absolutely crazy. Palace 5, West Ham 2.
Oh man, I couldn't believe seeing 4-0 up after 28 or 29 minutes or whatever it was. Listen, we know West Ham put everything they had, every bit of energy they had mentally and physically into that game against Leverkusen on Thursday night. But for them to go to Palace, which is always tough to do, and as you know as well, because Palace are a tricky team, to be 4-0 down after 28 minutes, like Palace were steamrolling, and Palace were just playing through their midfield and through their back four for fun. You know, they score some great goals. Eze he's been fantastic. Mateta again, he's just been in unbelievable form lately.
Spoke about him last weekend at the game against Kanate and Van
He
Dijk. He was unreal.
He's been
Unreal.
what a player. Like I know we talk about Elise and Eze and stuff like that, but Mateta for me has been probably one of the best players over the course of the season. Yeah, obviously, listen, West Ham got one back with Antonio, but yeah, they just got steamrolled, and obviously a lot of pressure on Moyes now, a lot of talk going around. I think if they had a bet like Leverkusen and gone through, I don't think they're it's probably just putting a little bit of time in the bank for him. But I think now it's game over. I think they get a new manager in at the end of the season and work with the building a new squad over the course of the summer,
Yeah, absolutely. Aston Villa 3, Bournemouth 1.
Yeah, good. Listen, it was Bournemouth obviously went 1-0 up with the Solanke penalty. Tough team to play against if you're behind on them, But I think Villa just their class, and not just yesterday, but all season really shone, and they got back into it. Ollie Watkins with 2 assists. He's been excellent in an Aston Villa shirt this season. I know he got slagged when he got called up for England, saying he didn't really do it either. But yeah, fantastic win, and Unai Emery has to be up there for manager of the season in my book.
Absolutely, and it was a big game, obviously, after qualifying for the semis there on Thursday as well. Obviously they had the early game as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely, he's there or thereabouts now at this stage, and absolutely doing brilliant. And I suppose home advantage helped them as well. I think if this had been at Bournemouth, it might have been a different game.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
having that home advantage at Villa Park and
Yeah,
those fans,
the vitality can be very tough to go to. But yeah, obviously going 1-0 down, they still have the fans behind them, and they equalise, and the place of Villa Park erupted. So yeah, you could always see them just getting over the line. But I would have with Villa, the penalty shootout on Thursday, I would have went for a score draw on this one, to be honest. But it was a great win for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Romy One Kenobi. Nicholas Jackson didn't get his weekly Snapchat from Wetso, lacked motivation. Good Lord. And John is in. Does Callum O'Hare qualify for Ireland? Good little player.
Yeah, he has Irish descent. I think his grandmother on his mom's side is from Ireland, but he's played for England up until under 20s. So, but he still could obviously jump across, but we'll have to wait and see.
We need to get a manager in who has the strength to have a conversation with these guys to convince them. We'll find any player an Irish passport if they want to play for us. Don't worry about that.
Big time. Sure, that Jason McAteer story, that was how you remember when Jack went over the Bolton to see him?
Yeah.
And he says, come on over. So he went over training, and he had to go to court to obviously get legal documents and all. And by the time he literally left court, by the time he got back to the hotel, his new passport was sitting on the bed, so they already had it ready, and so but it was so funny because Jack
good old days.
That's because Jack said, "You've Irish blood in you, don't you?" And McAteer was like, oh, and like Jack was winking at him. He said, and he was like, "Yeah, no, yeah." and they said, "You're one from the FEI." Rang him, and they said, "We have 2 McAteers here. There's one in Longford and one up in Roscommon or something. Which one do you want as your granddad on the cert?" So we just picked some random McAteer from either Longford or thing. It was just mental.
I still say if we had had Jack, we would have got Grealish and we would have got Declan Rice.
100%.
Gusto doing his hammy chasing after Doku. They're dropping like Squid Game. They certainly are. And
yeah, their injury list.
And in fairness, Gusto was having a good game. In fairness, as well.
Yeah, he was doing decent, wasn't he?
Having Ashley Young avoiding the pen question like OJ in court says it all. Yeah, if the glove don't fit, you gotta quit, don't you? Last game in the Prem as well this weekend. Fulham 1, Liverpool 3. A massive game for us down at Craven Cottage, especially on the back of the Arsenal result, to make us joint top of the league, just on goal difference.
Yeah, now listen, I was expecting a tougher game for you. In fairness, obviously Fulham have been on a great run lately. Craven Cottage has become like a fortress for them over the last few months. But what a free kick by Trent! It was just unstoppable. Gravenberg's goal was unreal. I think for Jota's goal, I'm a big fan of Jota. I think the keeper possibly should have done better. But listen, it was a great win for you, and One, again, I would have went for a score draw in that game, so I would have gotten it wrong. But especially after your previous performances as well, I think that was much needed, you know.
Hey, so I think if you check back to West Ham's dealings last summer, I think you'll find that money was spent. I think Moisey brought in
Yeah.
some players. Kudus came in, didn't he? Ward Prowse came in, just to name two.
Yeah.
So I think he did get to spend it. Coventry City fourth goal, never offside.
No.
We'll come back to that in a minute. Yeah, it was. What I liked about yesterday's game with us was I was looking at the players in the tunnel, if you want to call it that, in Craven Cottage. It's more like an avenue,
Yeah.
and I was thinking, there was a look on their face of determination. They looked like they were switching on from minute one, and that's what I was looking for. Get out there, be competitive straight away. Don't give anything up too cheap early on. Obviously, the goal came on the stroke of half time from Castagna, an unusual player to score as well. But I think it's just one of those games. It was like pinball in the box, and
Yeah.
whatever way it fell to him, and he put it away. It's one of those goals. But I was very, very impressed with what we did then after the break. I was a little bit disappointed in the drop off somewhat in terms of when we brought the subs on. I didn't think the subs added a bit much, and I thought he was bringing them on to add a few goals to just reduce that goal difference down a little bit, which could be vital in the end. But certainly Salah came on, Nunes came on, and just really didn't hit the straps. McAllister came on as well, and the game just kind of pittered out. So be interesting to see what team he picks now for Wednesday against Everton at Goodison. That's for sure. And then we rounded out then Coventry 3, Man United 3. Man United going through on penalties. Thoughts?
Well, where do you begin? Listen, decent first half performance, very professional. Like, you know, obviously, sometimes if you're playing a team, you know, eighth in the championship, you might be able to kind of lose. I wouldn't say respect, but like you kind of drop off a little bit your mentality. It's not a big game like City, but you know, you're 3-0 up 20 minutes ago and you let them back into it. Yeah, he made a few changes and stuff like that, but you know, if you're 3-0 up with 20 minutes to go, knowing we've two tough games this week that we need 6 points from the two at home to Sheffield United and Burnley. I know people might laugh going, oh, but it's Sheffield United and Burnley. Both of them are fighting for their lives in the Premier League, knowing that we are vulnerable this season, conceding goals and we don't have a consistent back four. Like, I understand why he made the changes, but as a manager, you have to have trust in the players that you're bringing on. You're bringing on experience. You're bringing on Ericsson, an experienced player. You're bringing on Anthony, who's cost 90 million, that he's been managed before in Ajax and stuff like that. So for me, it was just a sheer lack of concentration from the players, and probably maybe a bit of arrogance. But no, fair play to Coventry. Ellis Sims was dangerous all game. I said it was going to be 3-1. I said it to the lads and work 3-1. Ellis Sims would score for them, and at that stage, right, you think, right, they got a consolation one back, and it's not short what they deserved, you know. And then they concede the second and then the third. Oh man, it was just absolutely horrendous. But yeah, sorry, just watching the Shells and Rovers game here as well.
Sorry about
No,
that.
no, sorry, I was just saying, watching Shells Rovers 0-0 6 minutes ago, Shells down to 10 men. But yeah, no, like I said, when Coventry got the goal, you're thinking, right, consolation, it's only what they deserve, you know. Then they get the second, and it's kind of like, ooh, you know, something could happen here. And then obviously they get the penalty in the 95th minute, and you're praying that Onana saves it. He doesn't. It goes into extra time, and to be honest with you, Coventry were robbed. They said his toenail was offside, and like we've seen teams like Sheffield United and Wolves get decisions against them like that, but we were an absolute disgrace. And like I said, it's down to the players. Like Ten Hag, like I said, you're 3-0 up against a club that's 8th in the championship, 20 minutes to go. You're thinking of the next two games, like I said, at home to Burnley and Sheffield United and Burnley. We need 6 points from them to 2 games to keep the pressure on the Newcastles and the Spurs. But like, man, Marcus Rashford let down again, and like, it's just, where do you begin? A few of the lads went over and they were saying to me, leaving the ground. You know, you've gotten through to the FA Cup final, but he just said it was so somber walking out and walking down Wembley Way. You know, it didn't feel like a win at all. You know, um,
Well,
and
it
it was just,
compounds, doesn't it? It compounds the fear of the final, doesn't it?
yeah,
Because the fear for the final now is that Man City have no distractions now. Like the league will be done.
yeah,
They'll be in full preparation for this. They'll want to do a double. They'll be very disappointed in the Champions League and stuff like that and all. And, the likelihood is they'll go on and win their 6 games and win the league. That is the likelihood. This is what they do. And the same with the FA Cup. And the fear for you guys, I suppose, you're going into a final. And of course, you want to get to a final. Days out of Wembley are great. But the fear of going in there and these boys absolutely smash you up. Like,
listen, it could be a cricket score by the way we're playing. Like Casemiro, his legs are gone. You seen that? I think Sims ran by him with just with breeze, like a breeze, like um, he obviously took Garnacho off and Mainu and stuff, and it did change the reflection of the game. But like I said, like I'll go back to it. 3-0 up with 20 minutes to go, and you can't see the game out. That's an absolute disgrace. And people saying Ten Hag out, this, that, and the other. It's down to the players at the end of the day. It's down to their attitude. Marcus Rashford, I take whatever money we can get for him during the summer. Get rid of him. There's loads there to get rid of. Casemiro, Varane, obviously Martial be going as well. I said Rashford, yeah, see you later. But like it's just down to their attitudes. Like it's just stinking. And you see when we won the penalty shootout, Anthony cupping his ear at the Coventry players and all. Like that's how bad we've gotten. That's the lowest of the low for us.
I
Like,
said it today on our thread today. If I'd have been a Coventry player there, I would have upended him with a
yeah,
punch,
and
and I would have taken the ban. It would be
100%.
worth it. That
And
was shocking. This is
but
a guy who's barely played this season, loads of allegations against him and stuff like that, and then has scored 1 goal and 1 assist for the whole
yeah,
season.
so
And he's
absolute
opened
joke.
the ears to guys who have been the disrespect shown to championship sides and the grind that's in there.
Yeah,
2 games a week, every week, regardless of international breaks or anything else. It's an absolute disgrace what he did. And I said it today on a couple of forums as well. If Fergie was there, he probably would have fined him.
oh,
It's
100%.
shocking, like
He was an
absolutely.
arsehole of a
Boys,
thing to do.
the likes of Maguire walking along the line, shaking all their hands
Ah,
and
yeah,
stuff like that.
yeah,
Put in.
exactly. That shows the man.
He should have grabbed Anthony by the scruff and absolutely forearmed him into the mush. To be honest,
100%. And like,
disgraceful.
I have to say, props to Coventry and their fans. I thought they were excellent yesterday. They created a good atmosphere in Wembley. The lads are sending me videos and stuff like that. But like I said, afterwards, the lads were leaving saying it didn't feel anything. It was just, he said it felt somber, like, and I felt sorry for the Coventry players, particularly their captain missing the penalty and stuff. And but yeah, listen, they're credit to themselves and a credit to the championship the way they conveyed themselves yesterday.
Robbie Kenobi, that Man United was embarrassing. I would rather watch reruns of Shameless than that game. Absolutely, it was, and it's so bad. Like the elation of the one thing about it is as well. Obviously, Ten Hag's post match comments as well just are a little bit bewildering most of the time.
He
Because
doesn't help himself at that. Like,
I said yesterday on Twitter, someone needs to put a GoPro on his head and actually see what he's actually saying, because he doesn't see the matches that we see. And
no.
I just think it was just very, very strange, the comments. Now, one of the things people dwelled on was character. And I think when a team has come back at you like that, you still have to show character to get over the line, but you should be humble and you should be respectful as well.
100%.
But I think you do still have to show character, and especially dropping that first penalty. I thought Bernardo Silva's was bad. Good
Cass.
Lord, that Cass
Like,
penalty was
you're looking at a lad, one of the most experienced players of the 22 on the pitch, and he hits a penalty like that straight down the middle, and that's when you're thinking, right, we're absolutely up against it here, But lucky enough, obviously they miss, and then this guy went over the bar, and we're back in it, but just by the skin of our teeth.
Yeah, Ted's in. Disgraceful from the players. Lost control of the middle of the park when Mainu went off. But these are Premier League players and conceding 3 goals in 20 minutes. Yeah. And it's a weird one as well, because it happens every single time Mainu is hooked. So you have to ask the question as well, why does he keep on hooking him? You know what I mean? Why does he not see this pattern happening game after game after game and yet go in and do the same thing? And that's why these questions still hang around in relation to Ten Hag and stuff like that. I've said it a number of times this season as well. Forget about the narrative that's out there and forget about the rivalry and all that stuff. Some of his in-game management this season has been absolutely shocking.
100%.
Aces Thanos, Middlesbrough 2, Leeds 4. That's a
And
big win for Leeds.
and like you have to respect commentary. Like they've gone all the way to the semi-finals, like from round two, whatever it was. Like that's no mean feat, and fair play to them because they play a hell of a lot more games than we do in the championship season.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't pimp Rashford out to us. Cheers. Can't see that happening. The PSG would be the place for me or somewhere like that, to be honest. Coventry lost to Luton last year in penalty shootout championship playoffs final. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, last year, in fairness, from probably around January to the end of the season, they went on an amazing run. Because they were around just after Christmas, I think they were around 13th or 14th in the championship, and then they went on a run, which can happen in the championship, because you're playing twice a week and stuff. And yeah, they were excellent.
Yeah, question from Ted here for you, Mark, about the Coventry penalty, similar to the Chelsea one. I think we're kind of in agreement they were both penalties, yeah?
Oh yeah, 100%. They were both penalties, Ted.
Yeah.
For me, like I said, I don't know how the Chelsea one wasn't given. Grealish is obviously in an unnatural position. His arm is in the air, and for me, it's a penalty. Wan-Bissaka was the same. Like he didn't know where his arms were, and it's just going to hit off him. So me, no, I've no complaints about it. It was definitely a penalty for Coventry, and it should have been a penalty for Chelsea the previous day.
Romy One Kenobi, that's why I put these slides together for your comments. That photo of Phil Foden, he looks like the love child of E.T. and the Mother Queen from Aliens. Good
That's
Lord.
it. No,
Good
listen,
Lord.
and on the final as well, it's just about for us getting players back fit. Hopefully, having a decent back four to be able to cope with City and maybe cause an upset. So it all depends on the next few weeks and who we get back in and fit.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, it's going to be interesting. And look, they did the job last year. You couldn't stop the treble and stuff like this. Maybe this year you'll be able to stop the double. Who knows? It is a final. It's a rivalry, and form sometimes can go out the window. You know what I mean? And the one thing I notice about Ten Hag, and it kind of reminds me of my time watching Fergie at times, where you just get that little shoulder of luck when you're right on the edge of something not going your way, and it just happens. So who knows? But we'll see what happens. We'll definitely be previewing the final before it anyway, so we'll see what happens. Just before we get into this week's games, run-in fixtures, title race. What you're thinking at the moment?
Yeah, again, yourselves and Arsenal have the trickier of the next two, I'd say. Obviously, Merseyside derby, it's going to be tough, isn't it? I can see he's winning by a goal, but obviously it's going to be very tough. Arsenal, Chelsea, and Spurs, and don't forget Bournemouth would be tricky for them as well. And they could start dropping off a little bit, but for me, City's games are for them at this stage of the season. They're all winnable, they're like a machine at this. They just know what they're doing. Like they're on
Yeah.
autopilot.
And no European distraction, so they can just literally focus
Exactly.
on this. FA Cup is boxed off now till end of May or June or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So it's like all they have to focus on is these 6 games. So it's no problem. The only one I see there that could potentially is in the last week, the Spurs away game. Maybe I cannot see anything else.
Yeah, maybe a point. They could drop
West Ham on the
maybe
last
a
day.
point.
I doubt it.
Yeah, point out of them or something.
Yeah, absolutely. For us, obviously, the danger is I think Villa away is going to be tough.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Merseyside derby on Wednesday is kind of a tough one. They won't want to lose a Goodison to us, and they'd love to take us out of the title race. So we're going to have to be on it there. What was the last day of the season? We've always been all right. We were all right last time, so it shouldn't be a problem. Villa away obviously is a tough one as well. If Villa are still fighting for that 4th spot, they'll be putting on a performance. So I think with Arsenal, this is a very interesting week for them. They've got 5 big fixtures there. Starting with the Chelsea one tomorrow night, that could be ropey enough. Chelsea coming off the back of a disappointing cup semi-final will want to put on a show, so to speak. And then Spurs away is always going to be a difficult one. So potentially, let's see what comes out of that. But I think, in order to have any chance at all, both of us need to be 4 points ahead of Man City going into their Thursday Brighton game. We need to ratchet up the pressure as hard as we can. So let's see what happens. And who knows? De Zerbi might be putting himself out there in the shop window potentially for the Liverpool game.
You never know. You never know.
Ted was in the natural position of the arm. I always think is a strange one because your arm isn't going to be by your side when you are running. So if it's behind you as you run, Is that not natural as well? It can be, but you know what it is, Ted? It's sometimes it's that final movement, where they
If
kind of
you're
move it towards the ball.
Yeah, and you're
Sometimes,
making your body bigger. They
Yeah,
always say about if you feel like the defender is making his body bigger by the
yeah,
way movement of his arm, you give it as a penalty. But again, Ted, it's subjective, as in terms of you seen a referee didn't give it on Saturday, and a referee did give it on the Sunday. Then for a very very similar situation. So listen, we all know. I've been out there before. If you're running, your arms are like it's even when you're jumping up. You're gonna need your arms to kind of to help you jump up and it just it's whether you believe he's making his body bigger to stop the cross or whatever it is coming in.
is that right? Is it the FA Cup final and the Champions playoffs are the same weekend? How's
I
that going to
think
work?
the championship playoff is on the Sunday and the FA Cup finals on the Saturday and the championship
Okay,
finals on the Sunday, and then the League One is the previous week.
okay,
So
interesting.
the
Brighton will be a banana skin. I don't think so. I don't
I think
expect it.
City have won there the last 5 times or something like
Mm.
that handily as well. I think they won 4-1 last season there and stuff like that. So
Yeah, that one now I can take. Tottenham versus Arsenal, potentially a draw.
yeah,
They would
yeah,
love to, similar to us with Everton, Tottenham would love to mess up Arsenal's title hopes. Arsenal got the Vince Russo fixtures without the pole match. Yeah, everyone else got the finger poker doing bar Man City. Edison looks like a guy that would sell you knockoff Avon products. Hey, I tell
oh,
you,
good old Avon.
don't be surprised. Right, let's preview the midweekers. Arsenal Chelsea coming up tomorrow night.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting game. Obviously, Arsenal need to win to put pressure on the likes of yourselves and City. And like I said,
Yeah,
psychologically, if they do, they go that bit. I know City will have the Brighton game and another game in hand, but psychologically, you're ahead of whatever points, and um, it's up to City to catch you. That sort of way. So that's what they'll be hoping for. Again, for Chelsea as well. They've jumped up the league. They're only 3 points behind us or something like that. So it's sorry, Shells and Rovers have just finished 0-0 there. Um, Duffers having a go at the assistant referee as per
for a
usual.
change.
yeah, yeah. So it's going to be a tough game, but I think Arsenal are going to do this. I'm going to go Arsenal 2-1.
Yeah, Ted also mad rule about the second yellow for Onana not mattering because it was in the penalty shootout.
Yeah, again, the bookings from the 90 minutes or the 120 minutes don't carry into the penalty shootout. That law's been there for donkey's years. Obviously, a lot of people only found out about it on Thursday night with Martinez for Villa, but yeah, they don't carry into the penalty shootout.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you got Jacob Fatu debuting on Friday night SmackDown. Rebecca Quinn on Late Show last Friday night, yeah, saying that she did well. She always just gives a good account of herself. Arsenal versus Chelsea is like Judy Bagwell versus James Ellsworth. Very
I
good,
know
very
who
good.
Judy Bagwell is. I don't know who James Ellsworth is.
James Ellsworth's the guy off. Remember, he was Carmela's manager, stroke helper. Carmela's valet, basically.
Oh yeah.
Wolves versus Bournemouth.
Yeah. This be an interesting game. Obviously, Bournemouth, obviously, we know they were beaten by Villa, but they've had some good results of late. I think Wolves, obviously, with their injuries and stuff like that, but I do fancy Wolves to nick this. Um, I think there'll be plenty of goals in it. I'm going Wolves. I'm going to go 3-2 to Wolves.
3-2 Wolves. Palace versus Newcastle. This is going to be interesting.
Be very interesting. I kept this out of my bet because I'm sitting on the fence. I think Palace, yeah, obviously since the new manager came in, they've done really well, as you well know from last weekend and stuff like that. I'm gonna go for a draw here. I'm gonna go 1-1 here.
1-1.
Yeah,
And United versus Sheffield United.
yeah. I'm going. Like I said, you'd hope for a different performance than what we seen yesterday, and I think we have to get, like I said, 6 points against in this game, and Burnley at home at 3 o'clock on Saturday. I can see Sheffield United scoring. They have it in their locker to score with the two lads up front. So I'm gonna go 3-1 United in this one.
3-1 United. And then
Yeah.
Everton Liverpool.
Again, I think for yous it will be a tricky game, but I can see us getting over the line. Everton, they looked dodgy at the back in the last few games, and obviously they got through this by the skin of their teeth against Forest without those decisions, like I said. So, Ashley Young looked dead. Like, I don't know how he's staying on the pitch. Never mind anything else, but he just looked like he was the weak link. I'm going to go for a Liverpool 3-1.
3-1. Happy days. Sheffield United would have a better chance scoring with Lizzo.
Listen, with Diaz and McBurney up front, they've created a lot of chances. They just haven't taken them. If you've watched them over the last 3 or 4 games, they've created a hell of a lot of chances. They haven't been able to put them away. And I just think with the way we've been playing at the back, and most likely Casemiro will be playing centre half again on Wednesday night. Even though you could put McTominay in there, he's done it for Scotland and stuff like that. Maybe put Cass in midfield or maybe change it around a bit. But yeah, I can see us winning.
Brighton, Man City.
Again, I think with Haaland wasn't involved, wasn't he? Not on Saturday and stuff like that. I think with him he'll come back in. I think Brighton will cause them problems, but I can see them City getting this over the line. I think this can be 2-1 to City.
Yeah, 2-1 City. Yeah, tight, which is always the killer as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's always the killer because when they went 2-1 like that, you nearly prefer them just to win 4-0 or 5-0 or something.
Exactly. Because you're that close, like
I remember sitting here watching that Leicester game. Remember when the league was tight? I remember Company cropped up and scored that 30-yarder against Schmeichel. Oh man, what a goal! And I just remember him hitting it, and I just remember that silence and everything just slowed down, and it just went in. And it's the hope that kills you, isn't it? It's the hope that kills you.
Stop,
Ted saying put Cass on the bench.
100%. I'd start Ericsson in front of him at this stage, but like I said, if McTominay is going to be playing, I'd like to see him at centre half with Maguire. I think he'll do a good job. Like I said, he started off as a defender with the academy, and obviously, like I said, he's played there with Scotland, so he definitely can do it.
Yeah, Ace just going with a 2-1 win to Arsenal against Chelsea. Interesting. What do Man City and P. Diddy have in common? They can escape a charge. Never let us down, Romy. Never let us down.
I love it.
Let's talk Hall of Fame.
Yes.
The other two were confirmed today. So we have Ashley Cole, we have Andrew or Andy Cole, depending on where you want to come from, and then we have John Terry. So I looked at Ashley Cole. Let's start with Andy Cole, actually, because we looked at Ashley Cole already. He was the first one confirmed. Andy Cole, 414 appearances, 1 golden boot, which I was really surprised at, 1 golden boot.
Yeah.
But then he was up against some serious forwards at that
100%.
time as well. 187 goals, 73 assists. Thoughts on Andy Cole going in?
Yeah, I think he well deserved it. I always remember coming home from St. Lawrence's, a place you well know, cuz, and it was actually teletext, seeing he signed for United on teletext, and Keith Gillespie had gone the other way as part of the deal, and I obviously got the number 17 jersey, and we all remember his goals against Ipswich and the 9-0 drubbing and stuff, and then a few seasons later, Yorkie comes in and they create this unbelievable partnership that they were unstoppable. And you looked at the squad back then compared to now, Yorkie and Cole up front. If any of those were injured, you had Solskjaer and Sheringham as backup, we could only dream of having something like that now. But I think it's well deserved. Obviously, listen, after United, he went to City, he went to Sunderland, Blackburn. He had a stint at Fulham and stuff like that. But I think, for his goals and assists and what he contributed. Remember, like with Newcastle, he was banging in goals, not just against the lower teams, but against the likes of Liverpool, United, and stuff like that. I think, he's well deserved.
Absolutely. And obviously, John Terry going in, 492 appearances, 214 clean sheets, 5 titles, and 41 goals. The clean sheets is just phenomenal. I do have to preface that and say, though, he had some great partners as well in there, Carvalho.
Exactly. No, he did. And when you look at it, I think whether you like him as a man or not, you can't deny his record there. And listen, he was a proper centre half. He's one of the last of the kind of old school centre halves, to stick their head in anywhere. yeah, like you said, you look at some of the defenders he played with, unbelievable. And even in the England setup, him and Ferdinand probably up there with one of the best partnerships England ever had at centre half. And that's saying something, because they had the likes of Tony Adams and stuff, and Sol Campbell in there as well. So whether you like him or not, like I said, his record's there. He had an unbelievable career. We'll all laugh at him still about his getting into the full kit for when Chelsea won the trophy that time and stuff.
Yeah, look, Ted, Matt Letizia is certainly a guy who I would be putting in the Premier League Hall of Fame. But I
He
think
should have been in there the first year, 100%.
yeah,
He should have
but
been there the first year.
I just think at the moment, he's slightly out there at the moment, isn't he? A little
with
bit
his views, yeah.
with some of his views and stuff like that, and also it could be a difficult situation. Get Katie Price in the Hall of Fame. She got round a lot of players like Premier League football.
She
Oh,
did indeed.
Good Lord. Get her to induct Yorkie. But yeah, no, it's an interesting one. I think there's obviously, I'm not sure, is there 2 more players to go in? They're hardly just doing 3, are they? So I presume they're going to
there
do
is.
5.
I think there's 2 more, isn't there?
There's obviously 2 more to go in, so we'll keep you updated on that, because I just think they need to start putting in numbers, because it's going to be so difficult. Like when you look at the list that come out, say the 50-man list or 30-man list or whatever it is, you look at that and you think, every one of them, you don't have a problem with any of them going in.
Yeah, exactly. It's just
and as it rolls year to year, you're creating new legends and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like for me, Mo Salah will go in there one day. There's no doubt about it. But how do you get around him with all this backlog? You know what I mean? Like it's it's a weird one. He reckons Fowler. Acers reckons Fowler has to be next. We would hope so. We would hope so that the Reds and
what about
all our
Giggsy?
good red men.
Will Giggsy ever get into it?
Oh, I think he has to, doesn't he? I think he has to.
13 Premier League trophies.
Get Delia Smith in the Hall of Fame. Come on, let's be having
you.
Absolutely. These are the things we remember, aren't they? Neville. Neville's not going in, Ted. Neville's going to have his own Hall of Fame. He's going to sit on top of all these guys. He's going to be Prime Minister of England one day, the way things are going.
He has his hand in every other pie as well.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Right, let's talk Liverpool managerial situation. Everyone getting pumped up. We thought we were getting Xavi Alonso. That's not happening. Then we thought we were getting Ruben Amorim. I was quite content and happy with that. And now it looks like that's not happening. It looks like he's on his way to West Ham. But the talk is it's a real difficult one at the moment. West Ham have flown him by private jet to London today for talks. On the back of David Moyes probably exiting the West Ham building, which we would imagine we've kind of called it on the way.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on this managerial situation? Because there's so much of it at the moment. I don't think it's anything to do with FSG or Acers, to be honest.
Who, for him not going to West Ham instead of you?
Don't think that's the case.
No, it'd be the project overall, that sort of way. Obviously, West Ham are a big club. Obviously, my ma's a big West Ham fan and all her side of the family, so obviously they have a lot of history like yourselves as well, but he probably just sees it as a project that fits him better. Obviously, he knows there's going to be a lot of pressure on whoever comes into Liverpool after Klopp, a bit like obviously when Sir Alex left and Moisey coming in and stuff. But for me, listen, from a Liverpool perspective, obviously it's disappointing if you think that you're losing out. But listen, there's going to be talk. Like I said, there's going to be loads of talk over the next few weeks, next few months about who's going to come in and stuff like that. For me, I think West Ham probably will be a better club for him to go in. He's done great in Portugal and stuff like that, but to do it at the top level in the Premier League, it takes a different character. So it'd be interesting to see who comes in and takes that Liverpool role. And obviously the Zebra's there, and he's the Premier League experience at this stage and stuff like that. And he's managed the likes of McAllister and all before, but I don't know.
Arnie Slot is the favourite now at the moment off Feyenoord.
I've seen that, yeah. It's an unknown quantity, kind of a bit, isn't it? Like, who would you like to see come in at this stage? Ideally, if you could, I know there's not many names available out there, at this stage of the season that you're looking at.
It depends. Like, I mean, there's people who you'd love to come in that you just know aren't attainable for one reason or another. The likes of Zidane or maybe Inzaghi and stuff like that and all, Who knows what Xavi Hernandez's plans are after Barcelona? Could potentially be a name. I don't fancy a lot of the names that are there. I mean, there's talk of Thomas Frank. There's talk of Rayola. There's talks of lots of mid Premier League managers and stuff like that
yeah,
and all. There's talk. Ted's after mentioning it there. Well, I'll just get into this now. I'll come to it. Leeds 4, Middlesbrough 3. Well, what a game! Chances of Jose. I wouldn't rule it out. Do you know something? With the way the market is at the moment, I wouldn't be surprised if Liverpool brought in a destroyer for 2 years to come in with that kind of bastardly way and clear the decks, not the cuddles and the loving and all that kind of thing. Get out of the club what they want to get out of the club and then set it up and maybe look at the managerial situation in a year or two and see if the market is any better.
yeah,
So it's because everything can change very quickly in a year. It's all well and good. Alonso turn around going, I'm staying at Bayern or Bayer Leverkusen. He could have a nightmare next year. Who knows
yeah,
what might happen? You know what I mean? And then everyone will be going, geez, we dodged the bullet there or whatever it is. You know what I mean? Or maybe he could have an outstanding season and then he's straight in on the back of Ancelotti into Real Madrid. Who would blame him for that? But it's hard. It's hard to know like who to put in because like the talk is of replacing Jurgen Klopp. We're not really replacing Jurgen Klopp because you can't really replace a character like that. They don't exist. You know, you
yeah,
have to just bring in another manager with a set of ideas that aligns up with FSG and Michael Edwards and Richard Hughes and these guys that they've brought in and stuff like that. So it's going to be a difficult one as well. The talk I read today was, we were looking into Amarin and we had talks, but nothing was made official. So we hadn't put anything out there and we hadn't followed up contractually with any offer or anything like that. So maybe we're just trying to look at the market and take our time. And maybe Amarin turned around and goes, okay, look at the market, take your time. Maybe the West Ham thing is a way of triggering us into doing something. Who knows? I'm not too sure. I can't answer for you. I don't
mm,
know. I think if Jose comes in, I think we're in for an awful roller coaster ride. I think it could get toxic. It has in the past. Why would it be any different?
mm,
I think also if Jose comes in as well, I think you'll see a number of key players might ask for the door and turn down contract renewals based on that as well. Who
yeah.
knows? Talk of Thomas Tuchel. Another guy who tends to
He's been
ball
linked to
out
us
with
as well.
people and have problems as well.
Yeah,
But there's so many managerial positions. I mean, Barcelona are looking for a manager. It looks like Bayern are sorted now. With Nagelsmann, it looks like that's gonna, or not Nagelsmann. It looks like that's gonna happen anyway. Then we're looking for a manager. Yous could potentially be looking for a manager. West Ham are going to be looking for a manager. There's so much moving around at the moment. Barcelona going to be looking for a manager.
yeah,
And then if the Serbi ends up going that way, then Brighton are going to be looking for a manager. There's so many managerial, and there's just no one out there. There's
yeah,
literally just no one out there of any sort of level at all. Like you think about it, if we're going to go from Jurgen Klopp, which is arguably at the moment in the market top 3, 4 manager,
yeah, yeah,
3, 4 managers out there at the moment. Like we're going to go from him potentially to an Arnie Slot, like
mm,
you know what I mean, or we're going to go from him to potentially, no disrespect to Rayola or a Thomas Frank or you know what I mean. It's a massive drop off, and like it's so dangerous for Liverpool as a club to be rolling the dice on this. They're really going to have to figure it out.
yeah,
I'd be just really concerned at the moment because a lot of those players that we have there at the club as well, some of them, a lot of the high level of performance that they put in is on the back of Klopp's coaching and Klopp's managing of these
yeah.
guys. Like
Exactly.
you look at when Andy Robertson came into the club. Andy Robertson became a world class left back, no doubt, because of Klopp and
Mm,
how he coached him and how he brought him along and all
yeah.
that kind of stuff.
So we've
You
seen it
know,
recently with Conor Bradley as well coming into the
yeah.
team, like
So if you put say the likes of a Kwanzaa into that team, young lad at the back, all the potential in the world, and you drop a Jose Mourinho in there, and that goes toxic.
mm,
And Jose, as we know, isn't very fond of playing youth players, isn't very fond of developing youth players, and potentially if he went in there on a short contract as well,
he
I
likes
just
buying
don't
players
see.
in their 30s and all,
Yeah, but
doesn't
I
he? Like,
don't. I just don't see how that marries up. And if as we said before, with young players and young squad players in there, they're going to make mistakes. There's
yeah,
no doubt about it. That's just going to happen. But we just hope that the performances outweigh the mistakes at times. But I don't think Jose has an appetite for that. I don't think Tuchel has an appetite for that either. And I think that's a real danger at the moment. And I don't like the idea. And we can forget about that straight away. When we go, listen, Acers, give over, right? Just give over, okay? Because that's definitely not going to happen. Okay, Dave's in. Big up, Dave. Loving the shorts at the moment, Dave, and
Oh
stuff
yeah,
like that.
Dave.
No, and he would slot right in.
Good
Jesus,
one, Dave.
I don't know. I don't know. Isn't it mad when things change like that? Isn't it? It's like we talk so much on this podcast about using the word legends and elite players and greatness and all and stuff like that. It's mad when your back's against the wall how much you'll drop your standard because you just don't have an answer. Like, how do we go from Klopp to the Feyenoord manager? I just don't get it. Like, it's mad, but that's just the way the market is.
Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah.
How do we say? Where are we? Roll me. Only way Amarin gets the West Ham job. Oh yeah, we went through that one. Fraud data. Yeah, absolutely. I love our 3 years with Jose. Man, was mad. Like a Jack Russell and he. I just listen. Look, if we have to take him, we'll take him, and whatever manager comes in, I'll back him. But I can't forgive him for the knee slide either. I ain't forgiving that. I don't care. Acers Ten Hag, give over. Ten Hag. The animation picture looks like Ray Winston. It does. And that's how I'm feeling. If Amarin doesn't take the job, then Danny Dwyer will show up to his house with a vibrator.
You slag.
Yeah, what's your man's name? Who's dating his daughter?
Yeah, Jared Bowen.
Jared Bowen, yeah, absolutely. Arnie Slot on a serious note plays some nice attacking football and he has developed well for Newcastle next season. You should go from then at Real Madrid.
If you're looking that one. Carlo won't be going anywhere.
If he's that good, go from at Real Madrid. Honestly, it's just the drop off is crazy. You know who does have an appetite for that? Graham Potter. Oh God.
Unless the Zebra goes to use and Potter goes back to Brighton then, or Moisey goes to Brighton.
I don't know. I'd wonder about the Brighton job because Potter got out of there pretty quick for that Chelsea job. And there was a bit of to and frown about it. And it was kind of up in the air and he was already in the taxi pulling into Chelsea. You know what I mean? So
backroom staff and tow as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Graham Potter, Jesus. I would rather Harry Potter. There you go, Dave.
Or Brian Potter. Without Brian Potter in the wheelchair.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I just don't know. It's disappointing as well, you know what I mean? But I just think I have to, instead of losing the rag, and I know there's loads of Liverpool content creators out there at the moment today, absolutely, who Sam was on, absolutely losing it and stuff like that. No, I have to believe that with Michael Edwards going back to the club and Richard Hughes coming in, that there's an actual plan there. And if Amarin is going to West Ham, it's not because we're missing out on him. It's because we didn't offer him a contract for one reason or another. I have to believe that. I don't believe for a minute that someone looks at the Liverpool project there and with Klopp going. Now, maybe you might not want to step into that shadow and try and maintain that situation, and that's fine if you don't feel you're up for it. And if you don't feel you're up for it, then I'm glad you're not signing for us, because if you're not confident in what you can do, we're not going to be confident in what you can do. So I just think it's a weird one that, you know, you're linked with the Liverpool job and the next thing you're on a plane to West Ham. Is a kind of a strange one, you know, but I don't know. There's just Southgate Acers are saying, good Lord, stop it. Jesus Christ. How could Southgate manage Liverpool with so many attacking players?
He'll bring Henderson back as well.
He can't even manage. Look at the front 10 that he has at his disposal from midfield to forward line for England, and he can't get that right.
Yeah.
How would he get Liverpool right? He says you're going in there now. Moyes to Everton, I can see he's loved there with them. Could happen. Capello maybe. Don't think so. No. I think football's kind of gone by him a little bit.
I was just going to say that. Yeah, he's out long enough.
The England situation as well and all, it wasn't great. It might also be that he was told what players will be leaving and you aren't getting a big budget to replace. I don't think that's the case, Ted, because I think we held off in the January window. Now Klopp was announcing that he was going. So we have some money there from that, plus whatever the summer budget would be. And if big players are leaving the club, they're going to be leaving the club on big money as well. So if Mo Salah, for instance, is leaving the club, he's leaving the club for 100 million plus. That would be going into the coffers of the new manager because he'd have to be replaced. And it'd have to be replaced at a certain level of quality. So I don't think it was that. Now, what it might be is it might be that he was told that his influence on players that get signed mightn't be what he wanted in terms of control. With Michael Edwards and Richard Hughes going in there, they're going to have a big say on that, the way they originally did when Klopp came in and stuff like that, which really led to our success, to be honest. Because there's a lot of stories go around about how Klopp didn't want Mane and Salah and all, and he wanted the boys from Germany, and they were kind of forced in on him and stuff like that by Edwards and stuff like that. I don't know how true that story is, but that's a story that goes around. So I reckon what it is Edwards and Hughes are looking at the club and they're putting together like a strategy and stuff like that and see who fits into that. And then suggestions are made and stuff like that. But I get the feeling, based on what we've seen over the last couple of years, and there's a lot of talk about how a lot of those players that were signed over the last couple of years, Edwards and Hughes, don't believe they were the right signings for Liverpool. So your Diaz's, your Nunes, whatever it is, okay? So they're looking at that as well, and they're thinking, right, we need to inject ourselves into this situation. And I'd say maybe Amarin looked at that and he said, well, I'm not going to have the autonomy that Klopp was afforded in terms of signing players. So maybe that didn't suit him either. So that could be it. There could be a collection of things there. But I think whoever comes into Liverpool as well, there's going to be a huge influence there from Michael Edwards and Richard Hughes in terms of signings and the direction in which the club goes and stuff like that and all. And that mightn't be for everyone, you know what I mean? As you talk about Tuchel and Jose and guys like that, they like to have a huge say in who comes in and the players that are used and the strategy and all that kind of stuff. And I just don't think that would work. Not in the medium term and possibly not even in the short term. Southgate couldn't coach my ass to do a morning log.
Tommy
Absolutely.
He's on a mad one tonight. I love it.
He's on a mad. She's on fire. He's on fire.
Big time.
His team.
And I
His team
forgot,
is.
Rowley, what the jersey I have on underneath here. There you go, supporting your Real Madrid tonight.
There you go. Out of respect for all those comments. Out of respect for all those comments. So yeah, we'll park the Liverpool situation and see what happens. But the only thing I could say to Liverpool fans at the moment is don't be losing your head and getting caught up in. David Ornstein turned around and tweeted on this today that Amarin wouldn't be coming, that it's ruled out. He also tweeted at one stage as well that Michael Edwards wouldn't be returning to Liverpool, and it happened. So anything can happen.
And listen,
I just wouldn't.
Try that. Like, don't get too bogged down on the whole of who's coming in. Just try to enjoy the last few weeks and with Klopp there. He's been there seven and whatever years now. So just enjoy the last few moments and let everything will fall into place after that.
Yeah, I think the problem is as well, there's a kind of an anxiety to get someone signed up as well, because you've got a very short window leading into the Euros. And then once players go off to the Euros, it's very hard to get signings done. So then you have a kind of a late pre-season and stuff like that. And all of these players needing time off after the Euros if they go deep into it. So I think what teams are trying to do at the moment is tie down a manager real quick, get a plan, identify targets, and get that ball rolling very quickly. Because I think a lot of teams in this position, and certainly ourselves as well, I think we'll be looking to tie down deals very quickly in June once the window opens. And maybe even beforehand as well. So I think that's where the anxiety is coming from. That if you don't get things tied down really quick, you're going to miss the boat very quickly, and then you're going to have a shambles of a window. And that's the concern as well, So, but we'll keep an eye on it as it develops. Right, beat the bookie. Give us your bets.
Let me get them up here. Did you do any as well, Cuz?
I did. I think I just did one actually.
I did two. Let me get them up here now. Let's have a look. So I have fourfold, anytime or both teams to score and result.
Yeah.
So I've gone for Arsenal, both teams to score and Arsenal to win.
Okay. Yeah.
I've gone for both teams to score with Wolves and Bournemouth and Wolves to win.
Okay.
I've gone for both teams to score in Liverpool Everton and Liverpool to win.
Okay.
and I've gone for both teams to score and Man United to win against Sheffield United.
Yeah, I seen that. Did you see those TikToks
No,
about
no, no.
all the cancellations of the hotels
Oh
for the
yes,
Europa
sorry.
League final? Yeah. Crazy.
One of the lads in the Lucan Spa Hotel put
Spa
a
Hotel in
thing
Lucan,
up.
yeah.
Yeah, seen that. Yeah, sorry, it was something else. But yeah, so if Arsenal both teams score, Wolves both teams score, Liverpool both teams score, United both teams to score, and that gives you a price of 67-1.
Not bad. Not bad at all. Give us your second one.
So I've gone for another fourfold, and it's anytime goal scorer. You know how I like the anytime goal scorer. So I've gone for how he does. I've gone for Odegaard to score anytime against Chelsea. I've
Okay.
gone for Jota to score anytime against Everton.
Yeah.
I've gone for Bruno Fernandes to score anytime against Sheffield United. And I've gone for Eze at home to Newcastle to score anytime. And that will give you 70-1.
That's not bad at all. That's not a stretch at all.
Yeah. So
Not a stretch at
Odegaard,
all.
Jota,
That's decent.
Fernandes, and Eze score anytime 70-1.
I kind of was in around you, but I did a different kind of. I just did 3 straight up draws,
Okay.
and it pays 60-1, just shy of
Nice.
60-1.
Nice. Yeah.
I did Arsenal and Chelsea to draw.
Okay.
I did Wolves and Bournemouth to draw, and I did Palace and Newcastle to draw. 3 draw treble,
Not bad
nearly
at all.
60-1. That's it.
Knocks
No
2
messing
of my bets out with my going for the wins, but sure, listen.
There
There's
we
Paddy
go.
Power ringing you now.
Boyle Sports on to me looking for that Coventry jersey.
Ivan Tony, what's your other bet? Let us know.
Absolutely. Let's see,
Did you do?
Ted. Wolves and Newcastle to win, Everton and Liverpool to draw 31-1. Not too bad. Wolves
Not
and
too bad at
Newcastle
all.
to win, Everton and Liverpool to draw. But you're bad, man. Everton and Liverpool to draw. This vape oil must be laced with mad THC. I'm tripping here like Sandman when he thought he's seen a lizard. It's the HHC stuff now you want to be looking out for. Apparently that stuff was crazy.
He'd be great in the night, yeah, wouldn't he, Romy Kenobi?
Tell you one thing. God help us if they round out the league and Champions League. Be unbearable.
Stop. Be unreal, wouldn't it?
Unbearable, yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, great show as always, folks. If you can, subscribe to the channel, hit the like on the video on the way out, and hit that notification button. I'm back tomorrow night with Pro Wrestling Weekly. We're going to be talking AEW Dynasty. We're going to be talking about the card that's unfolding at Backlash. Seems quite obvious to name but a number of things, but we'll be talking about loads of things as we always do. So join me tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, and then I'll be covering the Merseyside Derby on Wednesday.
Nice.
But until next time, folks, have a safe evening. Have a great week. Hopefully this title race keeps on going. Robbie One Kenobi's in. Loved it, guys. Daz is in. Liverpool to win. United to win. 16-1 treble. Okay. Nice.
Nice one, Daz.
Right, folks. Until next time, have a safe week. I'll chat to you tomorrow night. Marky, appreciate it as always.
Cheers, cuz.
Cheers, folks.
A pleasure.